when you look at your wrestling career
Mm-hmm.
here and in general, the Ben Kamali that steps on the mat for the first time ever and the one that steps off at nationals, what's the difference between those guys?
Oh, that's a tough question. The difference, I think, is just a matured version. When I step off, I think when I step on, the love that I had when I first stepped on the mat is still there, and I've worked to keep that this whole time. But it's more of a matured and experienced version that isn't so fresh and new to the sport. One that took it and was able to make it its own for a little bit.
Wrestling here at all of that,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think you're going to most fondly remember?
The team, everything about the team, the brotherhood that I felt wrestling here was something that I haven't felt in a very long time, and it's one of the reasons why I love wrestling. It's an individual sport, but I'm going to miss being with the guys, being with the coaches, being with this community, and competing for them. Because when you go out there, it's by yourself, but feeling that brotherhood, it's like, okay, I'm out here with my team. So definitely representing this university and just the group of guys that I competed with.
If you could, like if right now you were talking to all your teammates,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to them?
I'd say thank you. I'd say thank you for bringing me in and making me one of your own. Not treating me like I was someone else, but anything other than your brother. And I'm proud of you for everything that you've done and for every single person that was a part of it. All the work that you put in and getting up every day and just being there, not for yourself, but for someone else. I thank you for that and for just being awesome teammates.
I think pretty much every wrestler that goes as long as you have, gets to the end of a college career,
Mm-hmm.
experiences obstacles, in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah.
So to make it to the end, obviously you've had to overcome quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
What helped you get through all the struggles and all the stuff? What helped you get to this end point of a college career?
I would say my faith was number one. Keeping my faith at a point where it was guiding me. Anytime where I felt like I had struggles or challenges that I felt I couldn't overcome, it was because my faith was down. So that's number one. And then two, relying on my support system, which is my family and my friends and coaches that want to help me. Can't do it alone, even though you want to sometimes. So saying that I need help and that I'm going to trust in my God and God to guide me wherever I'm going to go, that was huge. And just that kept me going when I felt like everything was over and there was nothing else to do.
Tell me about the coaching staff that you had here.
Amazing. One of a kind. It's a group of people that they don't just care about you because you're out there wrestling. They don't just care about you because you're a wrestler. They care about you because you're a part of their team. The coaching staff isn't just about making you a better wrestler. They're about how do we grow this person when he wakes up today, all the way throughout his day and until he goes to sleep. It's not just how can we grow him on the mat, but, I mean, you have the most experienced coaching staff that you can get up and down our coaching staff, and then for them to just be here and invest time in growing us, that's all you can ask for as an athlete. You don't want to be treated like an employee. You want to be treated like you're on the same level and just respected, and that's what our coaching staff does, which allows us to grow a lot even when we're done wrestling.
What do you think you're going to miss the most about your time competing here?
I think what I'll miss the most is just, I guess, wanting to compete for the OWC and being a part of that and what it motivates you to do. Because the people that you're around when you're here and the relationships that you build, the goals that you build for yourself to want to achieve, it puts you in a different mindset when you're here, when you're competing for the OWC. So I'm going to miss that. And, of course, the boys that I've got and the team that you had, because when you go through a whole year with a certain team, with a certain group of guys, with anything that you do, you form this bond. So that bond that we formed, I'm definitely going to miss, because you can't get it anywhere else, and you never will unless you were part of this team this year.
You've been on this last year has been a bit of like a roller coaster in the sense that you didn't know if you'd get to wrestle even.
Yeah.
You didn't know if they'd give you that, your eligibility. Then you get to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You make it to nationals. And not only do that, then you're an All-American.
Mm-hmm.
You put your name up on the board.
Yeah.
Tell me what's that feeling like?
It felt heavy for a long time. When I got the call, Coach Brissett called me this summer and he told me that I could wrestle, and it was like a recruiting call, like when you first commit to college, because I was so excited. And I just remember screaming, and I was like, no way, okay, we actually get to do this thing. And then switching off of that little high of, okay, I get to wrestle, to, all right, well, now I've been putting the work in, but now it's like, all right, you got to bump it up 20%, 30%. So getting back in that mindset of, okay, I'm a competitor was a little challenging, and then also just realizing and remembering who I was before that, because when you don't compete for so long, you end up forgetting a little bit. And, it takes a minute for the guys around you, for your wrestling to click back in, and for you to realize, okay, I remember who I am. So once I got through that, but then being able to compete a full season, which was the first full season I've been able to compete in college, and just taking advantage of every opportunity. Even when I lost, I was just thankful to be able to compete, and pushing through. Towards the end, there was a lot of mental stress, I feel like, that I put on myself, because I was like, all right, you came back, you want to go to nationals, let's get this thing done. But then once you get to regionals, it's like, all right, I've put in the work of a whole year, at least. I've done what I needed to do. I've cut the things that were distracting me out, and now I can just leave it all out there. So it was crazy, and I don't think a lot of people understand how difficult it was to get to this point. And that's okay, because it's my journey, but I'm thankful for the whole year and everything that happened with it, because it was pretty cool.
All right, that's pretty much all I got.
Sweet.
Just need you to do one more thing for me.
Yeah.
Do you mind just reading this out loud?
Yeah. Dear Ben, I want to take a moment to personally thank you for everything you've done for the University of Olivet Wrestling program. Your journey has been nothing short of remarkable, and I am incredibly proud of the person and athlete you have become. From the moment you stepped foot on campus, you fit in seamlessly with the team. Your positive attitude, work ethic, and leadership qualities were evident from day one, and you have left a lasting impact on everyone around you. Your road back to the mat has been long and challenging, filled with obstacles that would have caused many to give up. Battling through injuries and moments of self-doubt is never easy, but you never allowed those challenges to define you. Instead, you embraced the adversity and continued to push forward, showing incredible resilience and determination. You demonstrated what it means to persevere, and in doing so, you became an inspiration to your teammates and coaches alike. What stands out the most, however, is not just your ability to overcome adversity, but the way you carried yourself throughout the journey. You have always led by example, showing others how to train like a champion and how to care for those around you. Your commitment to excellence in both wrestling and life has set a standard for others to follow. You've shown that success isn't just about wins and losses. It's about dedication, consistency, and a genuine concern for the well-being of your teammates. Every day you brought a positive energy to the room that lifted everyone up, whether it was pushing through a tough practice or offering words of encouragement to a teammate who was struggling. You were always there, demonstrating what it means to be part of a team. Your presence has had a lasting impact on the culture of this program, and your contributions will be remembered for years to come. Ben, we are so proud of everything you have accomplished. You've shown that success is earned through hard work, trusting the process, sacrifice, and an unwavering belief in yourself. Your journey is a testament to your character and strength, and I have no doubt that you will continue to achieve great things both on and off the mat. As a result of your dedication and perseverance, you earned well-deserved All-American honors. Thank you for being an integral part of this team and for leaving a legacy that others will strive to follow. It's been an absolute privilege to coach you and watch you grow into the leader and champion that you are. With great admiration and appreciation, Coach Paquette. That's pretty cool.
So, when you hear like OWC family,
Yeah.
what comes to your mind?
I think of everyone, and I think of all the teams before me that I know, the ones that my brothers competed on, and all the guys that came before me, and then everyone that's here, all the coaches, all the guys, and not even that, but just even the parents, the extra people that supported us. And then I think about the future of it and the people that are going to come in and be a part of it and keep the legacy going. It's just awesome. It's family. It's like a community that you know will take care of you no matter what. And that's something that every person deserves to feel and have in their life, but they don't always get to. So I'm thankful for it.
Thanks, buddy. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Actually.
All right. That's crazy. Coach Puck, that's crazy. I get to keep this?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Stu.
All right. Tell me, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? Filming a video for the seniors. Hopefully getting some good insight on what our senior leadership had to offer for this year and how we continued to push through, even not having our conference title the last 2 years and then coming back and getting it. So I think this video is going to be special, and I'm thankful you putting it on.
All right. When you look at your wrestling career here and even in general, the Bo Ekman that steps on the mat day one as opposed to the Bo Ekman that steps off at regionals this year, what's the difference between those guys?
As a freshman, I'd say I was a little timid. I was kind of bumping from 215 to heavyweight, and I was a little bit undersized. And I consider myself a pretty technically sound, good wrestler. And it was a little bit hard to use all my moves that I have on bigger guys. So the last 4 years, I've really been developing strength and conditioning, and then learning how to wrestle like a heavyweight as well. And I've had a lot of great practice partners to help me get there, and a lot of great coaches. Like Donnie, he was great for me to learn how to wrestle like a heavyweight and maneuver like a big guy. And just lifting with him too, he kind of gave me benchmarks to try to work up to and get bigger, get stronger. And then Coach Jesse and Coach Jim, both of them are just big monsters, so wrestling with them every day, getting encouraged by them to become bigger and stronger, faster, as well as wrestle better. So yeah, I've had a lot of support here at Olivet to become a great heavyweight. And at regionals, my senior year here, I think I was a lot more mature mentally. Even though I had a few injuries I was dealing with throughout the season that were kind of weighing on me, but mentally and emotionally, I was very much more mature than the freshman year.
What do you think you're going to most fondly remember about wrestling here?
I think looking back at wrestling right now, all I remember is just practicing as hard as we can together as a group. And that grind you have with each other as a team, that kind of overshines every other memory. That chemistry and the camaraderie you get with the group of guys, you're willing to push through those deep boundaries, you're willing to get PO'd or pissed off at each other to become that better wrestler. And I think the best part about being an OWC wrestler is we push each other and we love each other too.
Make one quick adjustment. All right. The coaching staff here. Tell me a little
So
about them.
I talked a little bit about Jim and Jesse, but Coach Brissett and Jones and Paquette, they're definitely a great group. I love Brissett because, especially with the FCA we've been participating in this year, he's really shown himself to be a great leader and a great human. He tries to push us to be our best. He every Wednesday or Monday, whatever day we're having it on, he comes up to the group and provides us knowledge on how we can relate Christianity to being an athlete. And to a lot of us, it's pretty important. And not just that, but in the room too, he's always inspirational and positive. And with a sport like wrestling, it's really easy to get down on yourself and have doubt. And just having someone like Coach Brissett to lift you up, and Coach Paquette and Jones do a great job, like Jesse and Jim too, but they all want to lift you up and make you believe in yourself. Even if you didn't before, you slowly are on that process of encouragement and starting to believe in yourself as a wrestler, as a Christian, as a human, and they help a lot for development.
MIAA championship this year. Give me some context.
So with our championship this year, it really meant a lot to us because as a senior group, we all came in as freshmen. Some of us left, but the group that stuck around, we worked as hard as we possibly could for that championship. And things could have went another way because we had very good opponents this year, probably the best in MIAA history. Albion being ranked in the top 25, Adrian almost having a better starting lineup than them. But it meant a lot because our opponents were good, and it just made us solidify that our hard work showed. And we were the team this year that had 10 guys that could go out there and win every single match. Maybe each duel didn't end out that way, but each guy on that lineup, when you look up at the screen and you see every name, it's like, wow, I'm so thankful to be on this lineup, and I wouldn't want anybody else to be in it. I love this team, and I'm just thankful.
I feel like every wrestler that goes through such a long career, especially like you've been doing this since you were a kid, has just obstacles in the way, things they have to overcome. So to get to the end of a college career, it's impressive no matter how good you were. What got you through the obstacles in your life and kept you here wrestling?
First and foremost, my faith in Christ, that really helped me. As some people know, I've gone through a lot of family problems and a lot of injuries as well. Even in high school, my junior, senior year, I had 2 major tears. And then in college, I've tore things, hurt my spine, my neck, my shoulders. But you just got to keep pushing through. And with Christ, the whole story is sacrificing yourself for others and loving others and being able to be strong enough to protect, to serve, and with Christianity, it's really given me a lot of belief in myself, and I'm trying to find something I can say that's like good, but I'm blanking.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, let me ask you.
Well, I'll add in my dad too, and then along with my faith in God, I would say my dad too, and he's my biggest support system at home. Everything that I do in wrestling since I've been a kid, like 4 years old to now, he's been there. He supported me. When I traveled in wrestling as a kid, it was a lot of money to do that, and they had to make sacrifices to help me, which I'm very thankful for. And he still does that with traveling himself to our long-distance tournaments. And I'm just very thankful for my dad. I love him, and I'm grateful that he supports me.
If you were talking to your teammates right now, what do you think you'd say to them?
Well, we still talk every day, but I just
Like if all of them were here right now.
follow him here. I would just say good job. Everybody on our team has developed. It's night and day. From Jay, who's moved up multiple weight classes and put on lean muscle mass and looks great in it, and being a great sound wrestler as well, to Cody, where Cody, freshman year, he had to find his spot in his body and his wrestling style, and he did. And I'm very proud of everybody. I mean, Dash, from where Dash went from to where he's at now, night and day. He was slick back then, but now he's a very technical wrestler and slick and gritty too. And then like Rob was behind very good wrestlers all through his years, and then finding his spot in the lineup and becoming mentally tough enough to, when he walks out on the mat, we all know he has a chance at anybody in the country. And I think everybody in our lineup's that way. And I'm very proud that we've worked to that point where if we send one of our boys out there, we have confidence that he's able to beat the #1 person in the country, or at least give them a great match.
What do you think you're going to miss most about your time?
The friend group, I'm going to miss most. Our senior group, and then some of the underclassmen too. Just having that group of guys you can kind of grow with and develop and reflect things off of and laugh with, most importantly, have fun with. We hang out a lot. We go to trips to Lansing, Marshall, Charlotte all the time with each other, carpool. Just having the group of guys, like for me, I live in 510 this year, and it's been great because everybody in the house is a starter except for Tom, and that was due to injury. But just having that camaraderie, especially living in 510, like waking up, you guys are on the same schedule. There's no conflict of interest. Everybody's working towards the same thing, wanting to be better. We all can watch wrestling together, play video games together. So just having the group of guys, like I said, it's something I'm not going to be able to replace when I leave.
All right, that's basically everything I got. I do have one more thing. Do you mind reading this out loud for me? If you need to put your glasses on, you can.
When Coach Brissett read this to me, I wrote it. Coach Brissett wrote it. Dear Bo, I can hardly believe your time at Olivet is almost over. When you first started, I wasn't sure if you'd stick with both college and wrestling. The first year was rough. Your loss of your mom before classes even started, adjusting from being on an average high school student to college level courses and not having the same success on the mat as you did your previous career, and it wasn't easy. But I never forget the time we spent together in the basement of the library when you told me you were putting in the work to get good grades. You made it clear that you were deliberately building relationships with your teammates to ensure everyone succeeded. By the end of the first year, when I saw your grades, I knew you were on the right path and could see that you had found your calling in business. Even with your quirky personality and sharp wit, you became a crucial part of the team, bringing us all together in a way that no one else could. You led clubs, even forced guys to join and stir up debates. All of it contributed to making us closer on the mat. You began to grow and rack up wins. You helped push your workout partners to the highest heights. You became a 2-time Scholar All-American, the backpack bow legend with your uncanny ability to ride and your trademark pins. Will forever be a part of the team's story. I know you didn't achieve everything you hoped for in your wrestling career, but this positive impact Olivet has had on you and you've had on this team and your classmates is undeniable. You will always be a part of the OWC family, and the bonds you've formed here will stay here with you forever. And I couldn't be more proud of the growth you've made as both a person and professional, and I have no doubt you will lead your future teams and family with the same love, loyalty, and determination you've shown us. May God bless you, Bo, and the OWC. Coach Brissett.
So when you hear OWC family, what comes to your mind?
I think just a group of guys that have collectively bought in to better themselves and to try and become a great wrestler, a great person, and a professional. I think it's a great experience to be on the other end of it now, and I can't wait for homecomings and alumni events and hanging out and meeting maybe some of the older alumni and creating new bonds there too, as well as having my friends from this year, from the last 3 years that I love, some of the seniors that graduated when we were underclassmen, and having the coaches as a support system, and then the future OWC wrestlers to come.
Anything else you want to add?
I'm just grateful. Thank you, Coach Brissett and Coach Jones, all the other coaches, for putting time and effort into me, believing in me. I'll see you guys next year at homecoming.
Oh yeah, brother. That's all I got. You can keep that. All right. So what are we doing here?
I believe we are talking about how great wrestling for Olivet is.
I'd say that's an accurate way of putting things.
Yeah.
When you look at your wrestling career, the dash that steps on the mat day one versus the dash that steps off after the last match at Nationals, what's the biggest difference between those guys?
I believe the biggest difference is who I am as a man. Day one, coming in as an Olivet wrestler, I thought I was bigger than I thought I was. Not physically, but I had a big head, and I mean, funny enough, you know. But coming off, you grow and you get humbled through the process of being here, and you grow with the team and realize it's not all about you. I believe I came in and it was all about me. And then as I grew with the team, it wasn't about me anymore. All my favorite memories are from being with the team rather than, oh, I won this big individual match.
What do you think you're going to most fondly remember about wrestling here?
Probably just hanging out with the guys. It's never about, like, oh, I won this tournament or I won this match. It's always about, like, you get done with your match sometime. Probably getting off the mat and either being, like, dog tired and your buddy's kind of making fun of you, or just cheering the other guys on even after a tough loss or the match isn't going our way, trying to lift up other guys. Yeah.
Most guys at some point in their college career and in wrestling in general face obstacles or feel like quitting. I know you've talked about freshman year.
Yup.
You were ready to be done with it.
Yeah.
Okay, can you take me through that and what kept you with it?
So freshman year, I was behind Reese, and I was here on Christmas break, and it was the longest Christmas break I've ever felt. It was like week one. I was like, all right, 2 more weeks. That like second week, it was 2-a-days, so you're having 2 practices a day, and it was just grueling. I came in and I wanted nothing to do with wrestling. I was just like, all right, I'm here for practice, and then I go back, and then I sleep. Probably wasn't the best routine, but went through practice, came back, slept, woke up, went to practice again, played video games, slept, and didn't really hang out with the guys that much. And I just remember coming in one day, got done with practice, just started crying, went into Brissett's office, and it was Brissett that kept me here. I was like, Brissett, I don't want to be here. Like, I'm quitting. Like, the last thing I want to do right now is quit or wrestle. And he does what Brissett does so well, which is convince guys that, like, that's not the best option. I don't think you understand what you're doing. He didn't say that outright, but it was a good hour-long talk of, like, look, I've had this guy come in and say the same thing. Like, they want to quit. They don't want to do it. And I was like, all right, fine. And then a few days later, I got COVID. And I was like, bet, I get to go home. So I got like an extra week long of winter break, which was a blessing looking back at it now, because then after that extra week long, I came back the second half, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to wrestle. Like, I needed that extra break. So yeah, COVID was clutch.
If you were talking to your teammates right now, what do you think you'd say to them?
I love you. Each and every single one of them. From freshman year all the way through. The Reese Wallace that used to beat up on me when I was a freshman, he was a senior. The Owen Guilford that was one of my best friends here as I was a sophomore. He was a senior leaving. To Jerry Hall, who loved to hit me and fight. Justin Carnahan, all those guys. Like, and obviously the 13 guys we have here that we've been built together, we've molded and shaped together. Just, I would just say I love you. And I wouldn't be the person I am today without all those guys helping me. Yeah.
What do you think you're gonna miss the most about your time here?
Cutting weight. Just kidding, I didn't do that. No, I think just the people, the OWC, the hanging out at 510, hanging out with each other, playing basketball. We all are terrible at basketball. But once season's over, we, go to the church parking lot, go hoop, playing football in the yard, like just the things that we do with the guys because we're with the guys. Like and obviously wrestling with the guys. But the people that are here, the love, the community that we have built through the OWC. You don't really understand the OWC. Like they preach it when you come in on visits, like, oh no, we're a family, the OWC family. But you don't really understand it unless you're around it. I didn't really understand it until maybe halfway through sophomore year, and then you're like, oh no, I kind of want to be in this town in the middle of nowhere more than I ever thought I would.
The group of seniors you're with, tell me about them.
Well, we got you, great video maker, quiet, funny, low-key smack talker. Romero, super serious in practice. Sometimes it's kind of funny looking back, but serious in practice, and I don't know, he's flipped a switch sometimes, and that's what made him one of the great leaders on our team. Got Hayden, who joined the team late. Going through our roommates first, I guess. Got Hayden, joined the team late. Was a great addition to the team. Hard worker. Saw him improve massively through the first 2 years. Rob wrestled on one leg second half of his senior year. That pit bull mentality of just like, yeah, I don't got a leg, but I'm still going to go out there and fight you. Glad you can cut this out. I got to think. We'll go with the old dudes, Dylan and Ben. They're great people, some of my best friends. Ben also joined the team pretty much this year. I know he coached last year. Dylan's big now, a few weeks out. Ben is too. We got Big Bo, Backpack Bo. Oh, man, I got...
Cody.
Yep. No, it's just, like, I'm thinking of all the guys. Like, Bo's Backpack Bo, throwing boots in as a heavyweight, ripping kids' arm off without shoulders, complaining about his shoulders, rightfully so. You got Cody Krupp. Can't forget Resette's video, or speech freshman year, killing a baby bird or whatever, but now as a senior, he just blew up. His confidence, his wrestling, who he is as a person. Tom and Schulte, who weren't on the team as much, but still great guys. Hang out with them at 510 all the time, just around, funny, great people. Jay Shaw. JJ Shaw is was our weight freshman year, 141 pounds. Not anymore. He decided to get huge and loved to hurt people in practice on accident. Breaking people's ankles, not really, but really. But it's not any fault to his own. He's just that explosive, just blowing through people. Yeah, he's wrestled 174. Didn't cut, but was stronger than every 74-pounder it looked like. And yeah, I never practiced with him this year because it didn't look fun. You know, be picking up Jesse Judge and slamming him, and Jesse's like, dude, like, wrestling him sucks. So, and then, who's another? Am I missing anybody? I have to be missing somebody.
I think I missed it.
Emmett. Emmett Kettle. Me and him had some beef freshman year. Not really, but he got on my nerves. I got on his nerves probably. And he's grown as a person. He's grown as, I mean, it probably helped that he wasn't cutting off his left leg to make 125. But me and him grew closer this year, and I gotta say, like, I don't think you can be on the same team with somebody on OWC and not end up loving them. Like, you just end up building a respect and a love for the people that have been through the same things that you went through. And Emmett's one of those guys that has honestly challenged me and changed me on how I look at other people, because he is one of the hardest working guys, and he puts his nose down to the ground and fights, and he hates to lose, and that's motivating for everyone else on the team. Yeah.
One more brief one.
Okay.
The coaching staff. What do you think of them as a group?
The coaching staff is, I said this earlier, I think I said it at Nationals, is they are a bunch of misfits. You got Coach Jim, who's quiet, but like low-key one of the funniest dudes I know. Like, he doesn't talk much, but when he does, you better listen. He's probably going to make you laugh. You got Jesse, who's a fake introvert, because I learned this year that he was an introvert. He comes in every time, goes, woo! Banging on whatever, the water jug or anything like that. And then, yeah, I was like, oh, this dude definitely is, like, going out all the time. And he just doesn't leave his house. He comes to the wrestling room and wrestles. And I'm like, that's not true. Got Coach P, who's always making fun of me for going into insurance, saying I'm going to scam people the rest of my life. I'm like, dude, bad rap for the industry. But he loves to make fun of me for that. And then you got Coach Jones, who thinks he's the greatest wrestler of all time. But he's very motivating in that sense. He's like, you got to think that way to wrestle that way. You're not going to go out there and think you're going to win when you don't think you're going to win, which I respect. And then last but certainly not least is Coach Brissett. Coach Brissett is... I don't got to say much about Coach Brissett. He's Coach Brissett. Like, you get what you see. You see what you get. There's no smoke and mirrors. He's brutally honest, makes some questionable jokes at times. But yeah, they're all over the board. They're all over the board, and somehow they make it work. And I love them, and I think everyone else on the team does too. There was times where I had a few... I'm not going to say that. But yeah, I love all the coaches on this coaching staff, and I think everyone else does too. If you've been here for 4 years, you don't. If anything, you grow out of a way you felt for one of the coaches into a positive way for how you feel about all the coaches. If you do have a negative connotation about one of the coaches, if you've been here for 4 years, that's probably gone. Yeah.
All right, that's everything I got.
All right.
Except I got one more thing
Okay.
I'd like you to do. Can you just read this out loud for me?
Yes. Dash. From day one, we hit it off. Maybe it was our shared sense of humor, or maybe it was just the endless streams of jokes we cracked at each other's expense. Either way, I knew pretty quickly that you were my kind of guy. But beyond the jokes and that and that Jimmy Neutron head that defied gravity, you had something special. You were one of my most coachable wrestlers I've ever worked with. You listened, you learned, you put in the work, but what really sticks with me is that moment early in your career at your first regional appearance. I remember sitting down with you after a tough match, watching the frustration on your face, and then something clicked. You realized that the only thing that truly mattered was controlling what you control. Your effort, your preparation, your attitude. From that moment on, I never heard you complain again. I know you wanted to at times, but instead you caught yourself, refocused, and got back to work. That was the moment I knew you were built differently. That mindset became your superpower. It's why you evolved into such a dominant wrestler and even a better leader. You set the tone in the room, not just with your skill, but the way you carried yourself. You showed everyone that success isn't about your talent, it's about having the discipline to block out the noise, own your process, and keep moving forward no matter what. Watching you grow into the wrestler and person you are today has been one of the most rewarding parts of my coaching career. And through it all, no matter how intense things got, you somehow managed to keep that that cartoonishly sized head standing straight up. Dash, you've always been like a little brother to me, and that's never going to change. Whatever comes next for you, I have zero doubt that you'll tackle it with the same mindset that made you a success on the mat. Keep being that guy and just know no matter where life takes you, I'll always be in your corner. Proud of you, brother. And if insurance doesn't work out, I'm sure Nickelodeon will have a reboot casting call for you soon. Coach Jesse Judge. Thank you, Coach. I love you.
So
Wow.
when you hear like OWC family, what's
Mhm.
what's that mean to you?
OWC family is a family that has been built on the choices of other people. We choose to be here. We choose to wrestle. We choose to go through the grueling process of Division III wrestling. It's something that you can't buy. It's honestly something you can't even work for either. It's a gift being part of a team and truly a family like this. Being able to just if you truly need to and you're at Olivet and you're struggling, you can drive 10 minutes to Coach Brissett's house and talk to him. Yeah, you should probably shoot him a text, but if it comes down to it, you're not doing that anywhere else. There's no way. And part of the wrestling, someone will be wrestling on a mat at an individual tournament, and we have 15 guys in their corner cheering them on. Go to a tournament and tell me if you see that literally anywhere else. It's not going to happen. OWC family is something that I thought was preached because every school that's trying to recruit you is like, we're a family, we love each other, we're a good team. But it's so much more than that being on Olivet Wrestling College. and it's still college. We're not a university, at least for us. We got 2 years and 2 years of it, but OWC is a family, and you can't buy it. It's something that I didn't think of. And now it's like I understand that it can't be bought, and this experience is going to stick with me for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, well, I do. I'm not sure what. Olivet Wrestling. I don't know, there's just so much to say. You know, like, and we're done. It's like, how do you wrap that up? It's been a blessing being here, and I wouldn't have become the man I am today without being on this wrestling team with the coaches, with the people, with the influences that I've been around. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys and OWC family.
Perfect.
Boom. Oh, my butt.
But, yeah, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? We're looking to graduate, become like a bigger person outside of the college world.
When you look at your wrestling career here and just in general, but the Dylan Phelps that steps on the mat day one as opposed to the Dylan Phelps that stepped off the mat at nationals, what's the biggest difference between those guys?
I would say like the race for accolades. The race for accolades was like the biggest thing. I always just wanted to be on top of the podium or have like the first place next to my name. But then after going to nationals, going 1 and 2, taking third at regionals, like those were never first places to get there, but those memories were core to my heart, and that's what lasts forever.
What do you think you're going to most fondly remember about your wrestling?
Probably the culture of the team, just being around the boys. Like that's the thing I'll always remember. Like especially going out into the real world now, we're be solo, but just a phone call away, compared to waking up next to those guys. Pause.
Can you tell me the coaching staff here? Can you tell me about them?
Those are like, it's like grandpa and uncle almost with all the guys. You know, I came in an 18-year-old kid, not really knowing much about the college scene, and then 5 years later I've grown into, like, those are like my role models almost.
Your teammates, this group of guys that you're graduating with here, what can you tell me about them?
Being the 5th year, like over the summer I was kind of freaking out a little bit, like, oh, I've never really hung out with them. It's just such a tight-knit group of seniors already. Like, I'm going to just kind of trickle myself in there every once in a while. But I was, like, brought in with open arms, which goes back to, like, that culture scene of everything. Like, you're never going to be outplaced.
If you were talking to all your teammates right now, what would you say to them?
That I love them, and I'm very thankful that they could see me grow.
What do you think you're going to miss most about your time here?
I would say probably going in the room and just competing with everybody. Like, nobody was ever afraid to step up to the challenge. Like, that's one thing that I love about it, because there's probably going to be some people that I meet in the real world and down the road that they'll just cower down or put their tail between their legs, but nobody on this team ever did that.
That feeling this year and last year too, but of getting to the national tournament, you know, and reaching, you know, part of the goals that you had set. Tell me about that.
I think it's just a representation of everybody around me. Like, I wouldn't have ever been able to do it by myself, whether it's from the coaches or my partners. Not this year, but the last year, I remember seeing Ben and Rob right before I wrestled my third place match, and they just gave me a smile and a thumbs up, and like that's all I needed to calm my nerves. So those memories they'll always be there.
A few years from now, down the road, what do you think you're gonna sit and think about this team, this group, this place?
Just playing spike ball, really. Like, that's a fun one, like, that we maybe overshadow a little bit, is just, like, going in there and having fun. Whether it's going back to the house and playing video games or hanging out with those guys or going and getting food, like, that's been a big one recently, is all the restaurant visits and stuff like that.
All right, that's all I got. I do have one more thing I'd like you to do for me. Could you read this out loud?
Dylan Phelps, where do I start? I start by Thanksgiving. Hold on. Dylan Phelps, where do I start? I start by thanking you for trusting me to help coach and guide you as a wrestler and young man. You taught me how to be present in the moment and not the accomplishments or outcomes. I've watched a boy turn into a young man, find faith, family, friends, and a brotherhood, while going through heartache, finding happiness, but never lacking determination. As you can see, I didn't say accomplish all your goals because as you've taught me, to be firm in your belief, no matter the outcome. There's a purpose to those moments. It's all part of the plan. You have become a great wrestler, and knowing you might say, how am I a great wrestler? I didn't accomplish my goals. Well, being a great wrestler is not all about the accomplishments that you may have obtained. Being a great wrestler is being a student of the sport, accepting and continuously learning from the sport and all the sport gives, then being able to display and pass on that knowledge to others. Some wrestlers who accomplish everything are shortly forgotten, and then you have some wrestlers who accomplish almost nothing and have legacies that go far beyond their accomplishments. To me, this identifies a great wrestler, and someday you will become an even better coach and mentor to the young men and women who look up to you. And believe it or not, a bunch of your peers, teammates/brothers look up to you even more. To even think that you didn't accomplish any of your wrestling goals would be a false statement. An NCAA 5-year starter, captain, multiple-time conference champ, 4-time regional placer, 2-time national qualifier, U23 Greco All-American, and soon-to-be college graduate. Wow, that sounds like hell of a resume to me. Lastly, I want to say I am proud of the man and leader you have become. As a coach, I couldn't ask for a better person to lead a team that I am a part of. Your journey is never a punishment. It's always preparation. I love you, and I'm proud of you, and make sure to keep being you. Coach Jones.
So when you hear OWC family, what comes to your mind?
It's that. It's not having relationships that are just based off accolades or being on top of the podium, but knowing you always have like that backbone of the core family that's always going to be there in your lowest and your highs.
Anything else you want to add?
God, family, OWC. That's good.
Oh yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, brother. Do I take this?
What are we doing here?
We are doing the senior interviews for, our banquet. It's final year. It's kind of sad, coming here today, just knowing like this is really it. This is the end, and after this, like the tough thing about wrestling is the fact that unlike a lot of other sports, once we're done, like, we're just done. Like, one day you just don't do it anymore.
When you look at your wrestling career here and in general, the difference between the Emmett Kettle that steps on the mat day one and the Emmett Kettle that steps off after that last match, what has changed between those two people?
I mean, a lot of things have changed, not only because of wrestling, but because of the college that I went to, the people that I've met. You know, in high school, I had a lot of problems with my mental game, and I think a lot of that's changed throughout the year of my college career. I mean, freshman year, I had a tough season. I got injured, and I didn't get to wrestle a whole lot. And at the end of my senior year, it was kind of the same deal. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it at the end of the day, but just showing up every day and grinding with the guys. And, you know, throughout my college career, you know, when I came here, I wouldn't be able to sit here today and sit in this chair. I mean, I'd be so nervous, I'd be coughing up a lung. So, you know, being a lot more outgoing than I was when I came here, and it's just been a fun journey to actually like find myself, and like I said, it's just sad to see it go, you know.
What do you think you're going to most fondly remember about having wrestled here?
Just showing up every day and grinding with the guys. I mean, if you don't enjoy the process of the sport, then you're not going to enjoy the sport at all. So if you don't enjoy showing up to the practices, you know, some days you might take a pounding, you know, that's just the way it is. But other days you might have a great day. So just having that structure of showing up every day and just having a bunch of guys that are doing the same thing as you, going through the same things as you, and having someone to talk to about it, I guess.
If you were talking to all of your teammates right now, what would you say to them as a senior? You know, this is not your last message to them, but if you were talking to them, what would you say?
Not just the seniors, but all the underclassmen too.
Anybody?
Ooh, that's a tough one, Stu. Just don't leave anything behind. I mean, I can't speak for everybody on the team, but I know a lot of people do a lot of things that people don't realize they do outside of the room. So it's not just a sport where you can just show up every day and do your one practice a day and call it good. I know a lot of us lift outside, get extra wrestling in, and if you don't do those things, especially during the summertime, you'll definitely regret it.
All right, now what if it was just to the seniors?
Just to the seniors? Adios, I guess. If it was just to the seniors. I don't know, we'd probably just have a very personal conversation about the next steps in our lives. I mean, you know, we only got a month left of college, so, you know, all of us are going to do our own things, become our own people, and just know that I guess everyone's here for everyone. I mean, every day, you know, Tommy Lear's one that comes to my head. I mean, even though he hasn't been part of the team, like, in terms of wrestling for the last 2 years. But, I mean, sometimes I just see him in the hallway, and he's like, dude, no matter what, like, I'm going to have you after, like, anything you need after college is done, like, I'm here for you. So, you know, that's a really big thing. A lot of times here at Olivet, we talk about family. It was the same thing back at my high school. Like, family is a big part of wrestling. I mean, like I said, every day we go in and grind together, and that just really brings you guys super close in a way that most people never really understand.
I think it's pretty standard for most wrestlers to, in a career as long as like one that goes through college, to experience significant obstacles. You know, on the mat, but but even off the mat, and I think you
Yeah.
have gone through both of them.
Yeah, I've been through a lot of adversity. So obviously, freshman year I fractured my femur. So, that wasn't fun. 6 weeks of being on crutches, and at that time I was a completely different person. Like, sports was my personality. Being able to work out was how I kept my mental game in check. So not being able to wrestle, run, do any of that really took a toll freshman year. And then I didn't have anything too bad sophomore, junior year. I tore my LCL, a couple weeks off. I got COVID, just little stuff. And then heading my senior year, obviously I suffered some pretty big ones outside of the room, having my mom pass away. Obviously nobody wants that, but seeing, you and a couple other guys showing up to the funeral, like my coaches, it just really shows what the sport is. It's more than just wrestling, obviously. Talk about the family part. But it's definitely still a struggle every day. And going to nationals, already had torn my LCL coming into nationals. Like, I already was on a little bit of a downhill, but tearing my AC joint, in that moment, all you can do is blame yourself and, wonder what you could have done differently. But it's just part of the sport, so in a way, you're almost grateful for it because it's just, it's the way it was supposed to be. And being able to come back for that last match, obviously I didn't get the outcome that I wanted, but being able to step out of there one more time, especially being the last duel for us seniors and getting the MI championship title, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool to be a part of.
What do you think you're going to miss most about your time here?
Just being with the guys. I mean, not even just the wrestlers. I mean, all the different people that I've met here and hang out with. That's the thing I'm going to miss the most. I mean, obviously I'm not the most outgoing person on the team, so you might not see me as often as other people, but when I'm in the mood, I really do enjoy hanging out with people and doing different things. Being done with wrestling opens up a lot of those because I know a lot of people, food's a big thing when you're hanging out with people, so, no longer ever having to think about my weight no more. It makes things a lot more fun.
All right, one more. The coaches here. Tell me about them.
Yeah, I mean, Brissett, the head coach, nicest person you'll ever meet. I mean, everybody's got their flaws. So, I mean, Brissett, a little unorganized. Sometimes his time management isn't great, but he's a great character to be around. Real funny. And obviously, he's helped me a lot throughout my college career. I mean, I've kept my boat at his place. He's given me a car when my truck wasn't working. I mean, there's not enough good things you can really say about him in that sense. And even sometimes the late practice talks after, especially junior year, when or the end of sophomore year when I really didn't know if I wanted to come back to the sport. I'd been through a lot at that point, and cutting weight just really starting to take a toll on me. But the team needed me at 25. So I spent a lot of time in his office and just talking with him. Sometimes better than not. I mean, he doesn't always know the right things to say, but he does a pretty good job of it. Jones, he's your technical guy. Like, if you have any questions actually geared towards wrestling, that's who I talk to. You know, he really knows the sports in and out. In that sense, I think he's probably one of the more knowledgeable coaches that we have for wrestling. All the little things he can teach you that most coaches kind of overskip. That's when he really helps out. And Paquette, he's just the glue that holds everybody together. I mean, without him, who's going to keep Brissett in line? And, you know, I talked to him lots of times outside of wrestling too, so, you know. And in terms of, you know, people that I like in my corner, Brissett is one of the best corner coaches, like, ever. I swear, if you ever need a ref to go your way, that's who you got to have in your corner. I mean, you never really hear anything in the corners, but I'll never forget the one match at Trine, and I just tore my LCL, and I literally told Coach, I was like, I can't do this. And he's like, you're going to do this. And the ref stopped the match probably like 6 times throughout, and the other coach just kept about you know, how bad the calls were, and Brissett's like over there making jokes about it. I'm like practically laughing on the mat. Like, those moments you'll never forget.
All right, that's everything I got. I do need one more thing from you. Can you just read this out loud for me?
A look back over the last 4 years, it's hard not to first think of the struggles. I know you would probably see them the same way I do. The challenges that seemed endless, missing the most of your first year due to injury, the academic stress, and the constant battle of cutting weight and doubt. More academic stress, more weight to cut, and then losing your mother. It all feels overwhelming, doesn't it? And I know there were times you felt you couldn't push through anymore. But here you are, standing tall, stronger than ever. You persisted, you fought. Sometimes it was fight with me, but more often than not, it was with yourself. Even though conversations, every moment of doubt, was just you sharing your struggles and showing me you had more strength inside you. You let us push you, help you work through things, and no matter how tough it got, you kept showing up. That's determination is something I will always admire in you. I'll always be proud of the intensity you brought to your matches. Looking back at the end last season, especially this year, I can't help but smile at how relentless approach inspired all of us. You become a force, no question. The self-pressure, the drive that pushes you also made you one of the top students in your field. You earned that, Emmett. But the greatest growth, the thing that I prayed for you the most, was to see your joy. I've seen you smile more, embrace more, and love more in the last year than I've ever seen before. I know that there has been deep lows, and I can't pretend they didn't weigh on you. But through all of it, you found joy and experienced love. And I can only give credit to God for guiding you through that journey. He walks with us even in the darkest times. And if we stay with him, he will always bring you joy from the sorrow. Forever with God and forever part of the OWC family.
So when you hear, like, OWC family, what comes to your mind?
I mean, just all the memories through the 4 years. You know, obviously the big moments throughout your wrestling career probably come up first. You know, winning the MIAA championship freshman senior year. But even like going to Guilford's, you know, cabin for team bonding. It's just been a great journey, a lot of fun people to do it with. Without those people, it just wouldn't be the same. Um, yeah, I don't have a whole lot for that one.
Anything else you want to add?
No, it's been fun. I'm gonna miss it. That's really all I got.
Oh, yeah, brother, that's all I got. You can keep that.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is the note Coach wrote us.
Yeah, who told you?
I just happened to walk into Brissette's office.
Oh, no, different. 'Cause
Oh.
he wrote this last night at like 3 a.m. was when he emailed it to me. So, what are we doing here?
Doing here at Olivet?
Like here, what's this for?
This is for the banquet. Just getting some seniors in the photos, or in the videos.
So when you look at your wrestling career here, different than most of the guys.
Very.
Tell me about that.
Being from a completely different background than a lot of these guys, I came in, I felt like I was really lacking something, and, you know, just being able to be a part of the community fully was really cool. I think that I have a very different perspective than a lot of the guys did, but just being able to be a part of the team was something really interesting.
All right. Right, so tell me about this. Your first day wrestling here compared to the last time you step off the mat. What's the biggest difference?
Last time I stepped off the mat was as a sophomore in high school, and just I would say the main difference from, you know, going from that all the way to being a college wrestler is just the intensity. I feel like this room took things very seriously, and it was more like a business setting.
What do you think you're going to most fondly remember about wrestling here?
I think the thing I'm going to most fondly remember about being here at Olivet and wrestling is just being able to be at tournaments with guys, and even on days where I ended early, you know, just having the excitement of being around everybody competing at their best.
So, tell me what led you into, you haven't wrestled since high school, I'm going to step into a college room. What gets you there?
Coming off a major football injury, you know, I was just thinking about who I wanted to be, and at my lowest moment, I thought, why don't you just go ahead and shoot for the stars? And I couldn't think of anything harder than being a collegiate wrestler that I could really try and go after. So for me, it made sense to not only shoot to get back to 100% of where I was, but to shoot even a little higher and push myself to actually move past where I was as a person and as an athlete. And there was no better place than here.
You would think, as somebody who hasn't wrestled in 4 or 5 years, to step into a college setting. I mean, a lot of guys have wrestled a long time and they struggle to come and wrestle in college. But then by this year, you have a winning record. You're pushing almost towards like academic All-American level of win percentage. How does that happen?
That success is completely not my own. Not just the coaching staff here, but the teammates that I've had along the way have really pushed me, and it made it so easy to attain this goal I had of, you know, winning more than half my matches this year, as well as outplacing myself at every tournament I was at last year compared to this year. It was really just a team effort, and everybody kind of helped push you in that direction. So
if you're talking to your teammates right now, what would you, right now as a senior getting ready to leave, what would you say to them?
I mean, first and foremost, I'd want to say thank you. Being somebody that really was an outsider when I first got here, just because of my past, I felt extremely accepted almost immediately, and I can't thank this team enough for that.
What do you think you'll miss the most about your time with OWC Wrestling?
I think I'm going to miss being able to hang out with this amazing group of guys every single day. Obviously, we need to make a point to be together as often as possible in the future, but you'll just never be able to replicate being able to compete with guys every single day, to hang out with guys every single day. That's just not something that happens for the rest of your life, and that's why it's really special.
The coaches, what can you tell me about them?
We have possibly the most diverse coaching staff as far as personality goes, as far as temperament goes. I think that we have one of the most effective coaching staffs only because we do get that diverse feel from everybody. Everybody has their own specialty. Everybody has their own way of doing things. So even if you don't necessarily connect with one of the coaches, there's absolutely going to be a coach that kind of matches your energy, whatever that is. And I think that we have some of the most wrestling knowledgeable coaches as well.
As a guy that came in, a little bit raw to wrestling, did you feel like you were embraced by the coaches regardless of where you were going to be in the lineup?
I would say that the coaching staff immediately took me in. It almost seemed like they had more excitement to be able to kind of go over the basics with somebody. I know that I personally had, one-on-ones, like for the first couple months with Brissett, just kind of getting ready to do even the basics in practice.
Do you have a favorite moment from your career here?
My favorite moment would probably be going to get to wrestle in Iowa, and even though that match really didn't go the way I wanted to, it was just really cool to go from not being a wrestler at all to being on this huge stage. I think that was probably the most fun for me.
What's been your biggest growth through this?
I think that as a wrestler, my biggest growth was just being able to put everything I had into something, even though I knew it was so short-lived. It's just a lot of dedication to be a wrestler, and even as a former athlete, a football player, there's just not a level of dedication that goes into something, a craft like wrestling.
What do you feel like you've taken away from this whole?
I feel like wrestling has taught me to be a more disciplined person, and I think that that's something I can carry for the rest of my life.
All right, I got one more thing I want you to do. Can you just read this out loud for me?
Hayden, you joined the OW wrestling team last year after not wrestling since your freshman year of high school. It takes a special type of person to decide to try out college wrestling with barely any high school experience and not touching a mat for half a decade. Our coaches jokingly made bets on how long he'd last. However, Hayden, you possess an uncommon confidence and perseverance that allowed you not only to endure the punishment of learning the sport on the fly, but also transitioning into a very solid college wrestler. You walked into every practice and match as a perfect embodiment of our team motto: attitude, effort, fight. I think I speak for everyone when I say that I'm very glad you decided to give wrestling another chance. Your leadership and infectious humor will be greatly missed next year. Guys that you put your head down and work hard are the reason that I continue to come back to coaching. Thank you for everything you've given this team and program. It has been an honor. Coach Jim.
So, when you hear like OWC family, what does that mean to you?
OWC is so much more than a team. to me. It's a community. It's guys that are truly in your corner through everything. I think that the perfect way of summing it up is at every single tournament we were at, our corner was the biggest. No team ever had the amount of camaraderie that we did. They never had the amount of passion that we did, and they never had the amount of support that we did, both as competitors, as a team, and as coaches.
Anything else you want to add?
God bless the OWC.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, buddy.
I feel like I was such a politician for the majority of my answers.
That's okay. I can edit it together.
I always
sir.
just like,
Yeah. All right. What are we doing here today?
Giving, I guess, my exit interview, getting out of here, giving my my long story kind of shortened a little bit, I guess. So giving my evaluation of how life's been the last 4 years.
When you look at your wrestling career here and in general even, the JJ that steps on the mat day one as opposed to the Jay Shaw that leaves at regionals, steps off the mat that last time, what's the difference between those guys?
I mean, like you said, there's a difference between those two guys, especially like even the name JJ versus Jay. You know, like especially coming in. I'll just keep it to like college. So like coming in freshman year, I mean I was still pretty raw. I would have to say with talent. There's definitely a lot of edge I didn't have quite yet. So I think the biggest thing was kind of just finding that edge that made me, truthfully, and like. I think finding myself through college career, I mean, freshman year, I got beat up a lot. It was coming off the end of COVID, and I think I went like 5-9 or something like that. So I didn't do the greatest, but definitely finding myself through that, especially that harder year, finding myself and coming back the following year and getting academic All-American with my win record. I wasn't the guy to go to regionals this year, but definitely coming back the next year with a vengeance, I'd have to say, and just finding myself and I guess almost figuring out why I wanted to do it and figuring out why I wanted to do it for myself was the biggest thing. I mean, I've been doing it, and anyone will tell you it's just you out there, and you have to want it for yourself. But I didn't truly understand that concept until like probably these last 2 years. I really got that grasp, and that's where I got my edge. Especially this year, going out there with the confidence and knowing who I am and why I'm doing it was definitely huge. So, really, the sense of why I want it was the biggest change, especially from high school to college, but even through these last couple of years of college coming in.
What do you think you're going to most fondly remember about having wrestled here?
About wrestling specifically, I mean, now that I'm done, I don't plan on doing like world teams or anything like that. So definitely being able to come in and just roll around with your friends, truthfully. I mean, you got a group of 30 plus guys that you see on campus every day. You get to see basically every day through season, and it's basically just a big old friend group. So coming in and seeing those guys at practice, or even not even at practice, just seeing them in like morning workouts and stuff, but definitely coming in and being able to work out and grind with some guys is probably one of the things I'll miss. But definitely being able to get that work in, I think, is the biggest thing. Like just being able to go to practice, and any frustrations you have throughout the day, it just fades away because you're out there wrestling and you're doing what you love, truthfully. Like just being able to perfect what you love to do and get better at what you love to do, and It's just like a sense of, I guess, accomplishment or like achievement, even just for a day, but even like on a larger scale, like for a week, learning something new for a week or something like that. But like no matter what, there's always something to accomplish in the wrestling room.
If all of your teammates right now were sitting in these seats behind us, what do you think you would say to them?
I mean, plain and simple, I love you guys. Like truthfully, I think I have quite a few friends from back home, and but only like a handful of those friends experienced what I experienced with these guys, and Robert being one of them from back home, getting to experience that in high school and college with him, and just being able to pour my heart out. And those guys have seen a whole nother side of me that no one else ever has seen. So being able to share that with them, truthfully, like I love them more than anything.
The coaching staff here, what can you tell me about them?
What can I tell you about them? Well, I'll start with more recent first. Coach Paquette coming in 2 years ago now, making big waves and changes to how we operate as a staff, but definitely bringing a new level of expertise on training, but also still keeping it light at times. I mean, all the staff we lock in when we need to be, but definitely bringing in like almost a new life, kind of just fresh blood to bring in, and bringing in some technique and expertise, like with what did he do? He did like the guided visualization with us at some points, or he had the idea to run us through bike matches and stuff at the end of practices during those last couple grind weeks and stuff. So definitely having those new concepts from Coach Paquette was awesome. He's just a great guy, and he's on top of it, professional. And I mean, we seen him get heated at the Albion duel, but that's the only time I've seen him lose his temper. So he's a real level-headed guy, and he keeps together. Jones, I've known Jones since like middle school. Like when I started wrestling, he was doing like some assistant coaching and stuff up at MSU, and that was just towards the beginning of my wrestling career. And I would go up to the Spartan Lightning practices, and he'd be there every time. And so I've known Jones for a long time, and I'd say probably Coach Jones I have one of the closest bonds with, just because I've known him so long. And he's been vetting for me since day one, and I truly can't think of a better guy and a better coach, assistant coach for sure. Like especially with how much he works through technique with the guys, and he's really available to show you anything at any time, truthfully, and even hop in there for live. I've been thrown around by Jones a couple times for sure, so he's not scared to hop in and practice what he preaches. So especially when he's in there with a sweatsuit on the elliptical for like 45 minutes at a time. And you come in there before practice, he's already got his sweat going, and then you're coming in there for a cut weight. You know it's gonna be a tough one when Jones is running it. And then Coach Brissett, it's funny to me because I don't see him. He's only a year or two younger than my dad. I truly don't see him as like that older guy. Like honestly, if I could just take him at face value, he's like this 30-year-old guy. He's still pretty fresh and full of energy, and he's always ready to throw down and get after it. And especially during morning lifts, we come in there, he's the big up with the energy. He's up in the morning ready to go after it with his cup of coffee and his tight tights and his knee pads and his little hand glove things that he's got for lifting. And truly, especially as a head coach, sometimes he gets a little ahead of himself and gets a little discombobulated, but truthfully, he brings energy to this program, and he's been here. I can't put a date on it, but he's been here a long time. So, and he's been here through thick and thin, and he stuck with it. He hasn't quit when it got hard, and he's down to grind anytime, all the time. So they're together. They make a great coaching staff, especially with Jesse and Jim coming in all the time to help out the big guys. And he don't come in not much no more since he had his kid, but JJ used to come in all the time, work with the little guys, and Yeah, but everyone's willing to show what they know and give you the tools that they need as a coaching staff. So, and I couldn't have asked for a better one for these last 4 years.
Wrestling's like a particularly brutal sport in the sense that like you can work your ass off
Mm.
and still not always get the exact results you want. And I think you experienced that a little bit this year with, you know, taking that last loss at regionals. It was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Take me through that, you know, what's your mindset, how do you work through that,
Like coming away from it.
coming away from it?
Yeah, it's definitely hard, I'll say for sure. And I think I told a couple people the exact statement, but it was like I felt like that last tournament was like the culmination of the 11, 12 years of wrestling I've done, and it's hard to walk away and be like this is it for competition after pouring out your heart and soul into it for 11 years, late nights, early mornings, hard afternoons, especially when it's 90 degrees out and you're running on blacktop a mile and a half down, mile and a half back, and it is brutal not getting to accomplish what you want, regardless of the amount of work you put in. But it's a sense of satisfaction too, being able to say that I was at this level and I did these things because of the work I did put in. And maybe I could nitpick all day and be like, maybe if I did this different, or if I went harder on this day, I would have been there. But I mean, it's behind me. It's not behind me now, but it can't be changed. And that was kind of the. I used to get real emotional after my matches in high school, and I would dwell on it a lot. And that's definitely a thing that changed in college, was not learning to dwell and learning to work past things. And I think that last match, falling short by 2 points, was definitely the ultimate test of how can I move past it, and how willing am I to move past things, regardless of the outcome. And I think just finding it within myself to know that I did the best I could was the greatest sense of achievement I can get.
What do you think you're going to miss most when you're gone?
I definitely have had this one picked out. It's definitely, I know it's kind of bland, but just hanging out with the guys, especially like freshman year and this year, now that I live in the house, having and having like a hub to gather around is really nice. But especially like I've come back for camp every year over the summer, and just coming back and being able to see those guys that I haven't seen in a month and a half, 2 months, it feels like an eternity, and I just haven't seen those guys in forever. But even coming back then, it's like hanging out with the guys, and we're over here grinding and just doing our thing and having fun. And I think that's the biggest thing I'll miss, just because you won't have quite as many freedoms now that wrestling's done. I've always been told that while I'm here, school comes first, but wrestling is my job. And now that I have an actual job that I have to be at 40 hours a week instead of 20 hours a week on the mats, kind of inflicts on that. And definitely being spaced away from those guys is going to suck. So, but I'm sure we'll see most of each other at homecoming and stuff, so I'm not too worried about that.
All right, that's pretty much all I got. I got one more thing
Mhm.
I'd like you to do, though. Do you mind just reading this out
Yeah.
loud for me?
Anyone that has watched you wrestle knows how aggressive, physical, and relentless you are. Unfortunately, it did come with a slight downside. You weren't always picked first as a practice partner, because everyone was scared to wrestle you. I don't know if there's a better compliment than that to explain the wrestler that you have become. All jokes aside, Jay, you are the kind of wrestler every coach wishes he had. You work hard in every aspect of the sport, continuously learn from your mistakes, absorb technique quickly, and have more grit than a junkyard dog. Your hard work extends even beyond the wrestling room. The way that you can carry yourself and conduct yourself in relationships, school, and personal life tells the story of who you are. We have watched you achieve more and more success each year, growing mentally and physically into the person that you are today. I truly believe that on your best days, you could beat anybody that's lined up against you. I'm sorry. It's been a pleasure coaching you and watching your success as an athlete and a leader. I wish you nothing but the best, Coach Jim. Oh, that was a hard read. It's real now.
So when you hear like family, what do you see family? What comes to your mind?
And I don't mean to ostracize those new guys that came in the last couple of years, but truthfully, like my class with the 13, we have 13, 14 guys, but even Ben, he's been here 2 years, and just those guys that I came through the program with, we've stuck by it, and I mean, none of us really have quit. We stuck with it even when times got tough, and I've truly poured my heart out to these guys, and I mean, they've seen more emotion out of me than most people have seen out of me. They've seen more out of me in the last 4 years than most people have seen out of me in the last 21. So it's definitely it's that shared experience. So you don't get to family without sharing something with someone. So I'm sharing something with someone that you don't share with everyone. So I've shared more of myself with these guys than I have with the general public, for sure. So definitely being with these guys has made me a better man, for sure.
Anything else you want to add?
God, family, OWC. That's about it.
Oh yeah, JJ, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Why are we here?
So I'm here because I wanted to study criminal justice. Getting into that kind of field has always been something I want to do, and I really got into wrestling in about middle school, I would say. I had worked really hard, but ended up finding some success in high school, and I had the opportunity to both study what I wanted to, get into what I wanted to, as well as continue to wrestle in college with some guys that I already knew, and just the culture and atmosphere here when I took my visits was amazing. It's like this is too much of an opportunity to pass up.
When you look at your wrestling career here, and even in general, the Cody Krupp that steps on the mat day one, as opposed to the Cody Krupp that stepped off at regionals this year, what's the biggest difference between those guys?
Oh boy, just the amount of faith that I had, and I was always relatively gritty, but just the amount of grit that it took to like finish that last match at regionals. Also a huge difference was, well, I guess like in the middle of my career, I put a lot of expectation on myself, whereas going into it, I didn't have that much. I was obviously, just freshman, fresh out of high school. And then along the way, I kind of put a lot of expectation on myself and realized this isn't good for me and lowered it down a bit, and just became more free. So I would say wrestling with a lot more freedom, having a lot more knowledge, and yeah, man, learning to really love the sport. Not that I didn't always have, but finding other ways to really enjoy it and compete with everything I have.
Cool. Adjust the light just a little bit. What do you think they're going to most fondly remember about wrestling here?
My most fond memories, obviously I'm sure a lot of people others say this, but meeting all you guys, having like this whole new family that hopefully I get to carry on for the rest of my life. A few fond memories I have is winning conference, our freshman and senior year, especially this year, just because in a way, like our freshman year was awesome, but we'd have won it 4 times, and our conference wasn't as competitive back then. Our senior year, coming off of getting second in the conference, then third, it felt like we really like grinded for it and had to work a lot harder for it, and to achieve that goal was amazing. I would say that's got to be my favorite memory, and then also popping off at national duels as well. just honestly in general, getting over a lot of the humps that we wanted to get over. I feel like we accomplished a lot of those goals. Obviously, we were still hungry. We wanted more, but we still did a lot of things that we set out to do, and that's not easy, especially at this level and in the sport.
Tell me about your coaches.
My coaches are characters, man. They're great people. They love us all. They're always out for us, trying to make us better, push us. And I think it's just like a good chemistry all together, because you got Coach Brissett, he's a goofball, but also, like, for me especially, working on technique, I resonate with him quite a bit. Same with Jesse and Jim, having those guys in the room, alumni that scrap with us all the time. They have definitely improved my technique and just made me tougher, honestly, because they used to beat the crap out of me, especially when I was younger. And Coach Jones as well, like, adding that high level, like, touch-ups that I honestly think brought me to the next level going into regionals and conference, was just doing those one-on-ones with Coach Jones, and also carrying a little bit of his ego that he brings to practices and the team, like, rubbing off on that helped me a lot as well.
If you were talking to all your teammates right now, what do you think you'd say?
I'd say thank you guys for everything that you've done for me. Thank you for being such an awesome team. Like, I love you guys.
What do you think you're going to miss the most about being here?
I'm going to miss wrestling with you guys in general. Getting to see you guys all the time are really the main two things. That's like been difficult for me, is just like kind of accepting that I'm not going to get to see you guys regularly like I used to, and my career's over, unfortunately. I mean, I still want to come back and coach either at a high school or here, but we'll see what the future holds.
I think any wrestler that wrestles long enough, and especially if you make it through a 4-year college career, has obstacles that they face, injuries, just difficulties, struggling to stay with it. What got you through to make it through such a grueling 4 years?
Having faith and realizing confidence is very important, but also having your confidence be based out of faith instead of ego, because at the end of the day, like, ego can get fragile. You lose and you're devastated. Having faith in the process and having faith in God and your teammates is really what got me through, like, collegiate wrestling. Like, learning to truly love the sport, love wrestling more than you hate losing, and just being in love with the process is what really helped me, and just having faith in all my abilities. And another huge thing too is realizing, even if I do fail, you guys still love me, my coaches still love me. Like, there's really, like, it helps you wrestle with so much freedom and get to compete with so much freedom. And I don't know how anyone could do it without having that, because I don't know if I could have, because I put a ton of pressure on myself when I was younger, and just realizing, like, hey, like, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you give it your best, the only way you can really disappoint your teammates and your coaches if you don't give it your all. Like, as long as you give it your all, even if you lose, it doesn't, like, to them, you're still a dog. They still love you and they still have your back. So really, there's no point in putting excess pressure on yourself.
All right, that's pretty much all I got. I do have one more thing
All
I'd like
right.
you to do. Could you read this aloud for me?
Cody, looking back at your freshman year, I can't help but laugh at how clunky and awkward you were on the mat. I don't know about all that, but you had heart, no doubt about that, but your wrestling was about as smooth as a shopping cart and with a busted wheel. I remember watching you struggle through drills, limbs flailing in every direction, wondering if you were trying to wrestle or audition for a wacky waving inflatable tube man in front of a car dealership. Jesse, I'm going to piece you up for this. But even then, there was something undeniable about you, a work ethic that wouldn't quit and a determination that set you apart. Fast forward to your senior year, and I'll be the first to admit, I did my best to avoid wrestling you in practice, and for good reason. I'll never forget the time you slammed me on my head, paused for a split second to see if I was okay, and then suddenly remembered the advice I drilled into your head. Always be a bully on the mat. The hesitation disappeared, and in the next moment, you proceeded to absolutely mangle me. That was the moment I knew you had truly arrived, when even my well-being took a back seat to your competitiveness. You had transformed from an unpolished freshman into a relentless machine, the kind of wrestler who never once shied away from a challenge. Cody, I hope you carry that same relentless drive into whatever comes next. Your journey on the mat is a testament to what can happen when persistence meets passion. Keep pushing yourself, keep embracing the grind, and never stop growing. Just know that if you ever step on the mat with me again, I'll be making a swift exit because I know better than to tangle with the weapon you've become. Proud of you, champ. Coach Judge. Oh, sweet.
So when you hear OWC family, what comes to your mind?
You guys do, my coaches, and all the memories that I'll cherish forever.
Hell yeah, brother. Anything else you want to add?
I think I'm all good. You can edit out the parts where I'm like, dude, I'm gonna piece you up for this, man. Or if you want to keep them in, you can. It's up to you.
I'll throw them in a blooper.
Okay.
All right, buddy. That's all I got.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, man.
You told him stop looking at the camera?
I said initially, I was like, you look at me, you don't have to look at the cameras.
And he's just like,
He's
oh, God, family OWC. How you probably doing? You one of those. What did he do after his last match?
I don't remember what he did.
Oh, is that the go?
No, that was for me to sync up the cameras.
Really? That's how that works?
Yeah, so when I go and cut it, I just know that that's the start of both of them.
All right.
Even though this one's my audio camera, this one's just the backup audio. Saves a lot of time. All right. I don't know if you've done a video interview type thing before.
Mm-mm.
I can't use like one-word responses all that well. I can cut stuff out, but I can't add stuff in. So you don't have to give me essays for each question, but you can talk.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
It's just a conversation. It's not
Easy.
All right. What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? Interviewing the most handsome guy on the team for, I don't know, the Ollies, it seems. Not the Ollies, the wrestling banquet.
Talking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you look at your wrestling career, the Romero that steps on the mat day one
Here, make me laugh.
versus the Romero that steps off at regionals this year, what's the difference between those guys?
I think I grew in my faith more than anything. I became a man. Less even on the mat, more off the mat, especially with my career where accolade-wise maybe it doesn't look like I made the most improvement on paper. I feel like the growth I made outside the mat and my character just kind of shows a lot more.
What moments do you think you'll remember the most fondly about being here?
Fondly remembered. I'd say being part of the big duels, which is weird because when I first got here, I used to hate duels, even up until like my junior year. But the Albion duel, even though I lost, that was just like a night I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. National duels our senior year, and even some duels that didn't go our way, like Adrian, at Adrian when we lost the title. Like maybe I won't look at it fondly, but I do remember it, and just like that's a day I'm gonna remember, and I feel like I built a lot of character from that.
This group of seniors that you're graduating with, what can you tell me about them?
They don't really feel like friends, they feel like brothers. I feel like along the way, losing a guy or two, you know, it sucks seeing them go, but then the ones that stayed are the ones that you just have a sort of connection to that it's kind of hard to explain. Like they almost blended with my brother Gabe. I'm very close to him, and sometimes I see you and other guys on the team, it just feels like they're an extension of ourselves, you know, just another brother, and they go through the same things we've been going through, and we think alike, and just love having them around.
If you were talking to all of your teammates like right now, what do you think you would say to them?
Thank you. Thank you for all the memories you helped make. Thank you for holding me accountable. Thank you for beating me up, especially Dylan. Maybe not so much used to, but a little bit. And just, thank you for carrying me through those hard times.
The coaching staff here.
Again, the same. Thank you. Thank you for building me to a better person than I am today. Thank you for tearing me down when I needed to be, humbling me when I needed to be, and just thank you for always being there every step of the way.
What do you think you're going to miss the most?
There's a lot of things I want to miss. Like, it's such a hard question to answer. Like, I'm going to miss those live days, scrapping with somebody, where you're really just, you're in shape and you're feeling the energy and you're just going as hard as you can. But I'm also going to miss midnight breakfast at the KC, sitting around and doing absolutely nothing on a Sunday night when there's 5 guys there. Just the things that seem like they wouldn't mean a lot, I'm going to miss those the most.
I don't think anybody makes it through a very long wrestling career without some adversity and struggles to overcome. To make it to the end of your college career and have not quit, what got you through? What kept you going when shit was hard?
Number one thing would be my faith. Just praying and praying and praying and always leaning on the Lord to help me. My family, and I don't call home or go home as much as I should, but I know that when I'm really down low, just one phone call away from my mom, my dad, my coaches. I feel like I've cried in Coach Brissett's arms more than a man should, but, especially just I already know he's there for me. And then my brothers, my actual brother Gabe, and then my other teammates like you and other guys on that team that are always there for me, just help me get through the process.
Cool. Well, that's all I got.
Let's go.
Do you have one more favor to ask of you? Will you read this out loud for me?
Oh, gosh. Romero Guerrero, pick your head up, poke your chest out, and walk tall. This is something I want you to remember. Your wrestling career has been a test for you over the last 4 years, even going back to your final matches of high school. This has been a challenge, and in that challenge, you have accepted everything that comes with this sport. You've had great moments, you've had bad moments, but every moment you've grown, and you should be damn proud of it. If someone were to ask me what I think of Romero's college wrestling career, I would say he has become a man. One of my favorite motivational speakers said it best. It says the most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat with... It says the most beautiful people we know are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way in the depths. These persons have an appreciation of sensitivity and the understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and deep loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen. Inky Johnson. His quote, I think, exemplifies the man you've become, and I'll keep it short and sweet. Proud of you, so whenever you have doubt, pick your head up, poke your chest out, and walk tall because you will always come out on top. Love you and keep being you. Coach Jones.
All right. We got one more.
2? You give me the double duty? That was freaking good. Okay. Parched. Dear Romero, your years of sacrifice and dedication to the sport of wrestling, and most importantly to yourself, inspire more people around you than you may know. Wrestling is a sport that will teach you many life lessons, giving you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. You can work your butt off from the end of one season to the end of the next and see little to no growth in your result. But no matter the result, you continue to be brave and show your experience, trusting the process and never losing hope. That is the meaning of a true warrior. Throughout your time at Olivet, your growth has been exponential. With your wrestling strength, character, faith, leadership, and so much more, you embody what people strive to be, and that itself is something to be proud of. Although goals may not have been met, the journey has been
like nothing else. You have built bonds that will last a lifetime and made memories that will be cherished forever. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Romero, you are great, you are relentless and goal-driven. Do not let anyone pull you down as you have the work ethic like no other. Your work ethic and prayers will get you to places you have only dreamed of. Be thankful for every step of the way, up or down, as the next is never promised. Your proud brother, Gabe. Sorry.
So when you hear like OWC family, what's that? What's that mean to you?
OWC. When I hear OWC fan, what does that mean to me? That just means a brotherhood. Actually, the first thing that comes to mind is love. I feel like we hear that a lot. Coach Brissett preaches it. Not just love each other, but love the sport and, love with everything you do. I think a passion second. Passion for the sport, passion for, like I said, everything you do, all your brothers and all those workouts and all the hard things, the good things, just having passion and love for both of them.
Anything else you want to add?
I got that else.
Cool. Well, that's all I got.
Thank you.
There, you can have this one.
Can't let Gabriel move on. That's good. Any tears from any of the other guys?
I got some pretty wet eyes, but all right, what are we doing here?
So we are doing our senior audit pretty much for, I would say, wrestling. So giving me a little video with us and the seniors and gonna show some recaps of this year.
When you look at your wrestling career here and in general, what's the biggest difference between you, day one you step in here, and you that last time you step off the mat?
I believe the biggest difference is kind of like the mentality I have. Freshman year, I really thought it was just another sport to play. That it was at the end of the day was like gonna lead me towards a goal of some sort. And once I realized that it was more than a goal, it's more of a brotherhood and teaching me lessons that I'll never get with any other sport. It's a big accomplishment to finish my senior year how I did in my eyes, and I think I did my best of my ability. So taught me a lot of lessons as well.
All right, so how did you finish the senior year?
So I finished my year as a regional placer. I took 8th with my torn ACL and my meniscus. So I believe that was how I wanted to finish. I became a Scholar All-American for the second time, and that's all I could ask for.
So overcoming obstacles and not letting, stuff that would stop most people stop you. What got you through that?
A lot of coaches' appraisal and kind of all my teammates just pushed me to be the best of my ability, and everybody's guidance and also leadership from the older guys like Phelps brought me to be who I am today and just kind of pushed me towards the final goal. And I didn't ever want to let my guys down, so I had to keep pushing.
What do you think you're going to most fondly remember about wrestling here?
Ooh. My greatest memory that I'm going to have is senior night of this year against Albion, with the whole gym cut out to have all of our guys and all of the Olivet people there in the Albion duel, with it being our senior night, having it blacked out and the songs, the walkout songs and whatnot, and having the guys in front of me and behind me knowing that they're going to have my back and just going out and dominating. That was definitely going to be my biggest memory of here.
If you were talking to your teammates right now, what would you say to them?
What I would say to my teammates, if I had to go back
and I would talk to all my teammates. I would say stick in it for the long run and never give up on your goals. Set your goals as high as possible and keep trying to achieve that goal no matter what, because you're going to hit obstacles, you're going to hit those ups and downs, and eventually you'll fall where you were designed to fall. So, and if you stick to that high goal, that's only going to make you better in the long run, and that's going to make you do the best of your ability.
So your time at Olivet was a little different, I think, because you got some varsity time as a freshman, but like you had, Phelps, who's a multiple-time national qualifier in front of you.
Yep.
So you spent, despite being, I think, one of the best guys on the team, you took that backup role for a while. What did all that mean for you?
So coming in here, I didn't really know who was around here. I kind of just picked a college when it was close and who had a great program for not only my academics, but wrestling. I knew Olivet had a really good team. And with Phelps being here and being a multiple-time national qualifier, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try to learn from the guy ahead of me. And when my time comes, I'm going to do my best of my ability and just learn from these guys that are older than me and probably been in the wrestling career longer than me. So I was just taking back what I could learn from them and just tried to push them as much as I could and then learn from them what they gave me.
What do you think you're going to miss the most about wrestling here in your time here?
What I'm going to miss the most would be definitely the brotherhood that we got here. Most other programs I've heard, they don't have like a bond that we have here, and it makes so much of a difference between the cutting weight, the seeing each other at school, and in Cutler specifically. It's something that's gonna go with me throughout whole life, and I'm very grateful for that.
Do you have any message to like your parents and family?
The message that I would give them would be thank you for keeping with me throughout the whole process, regardless if I was a backup to if I was a starter. Regardless, they would show up, support me with all their will, and I just can't thank them enough for just pushing me to be the person I am today. Couldn't be a lot of things without these guys, and my parents are huge into this sport, so they definitely pushed me to my ability. So I'm grateful for that.
All right, just a couple more.
All right.
Your coaches, what can you tell me about them?
Oh, coaches. Man, I love those guys. I didn't really have a great bond with them at first. Like freshman year, I just thought I was like one of those other wrestlers on the team that like will grow through the process and build a bond. And I was like, all right, I know eventually it's going to be my time. And especially this year and last year specifically, I built a great bond with the coaches. Jesse is the highlight reel guy who brings the energy. Jimbo, if you need him, he's going to be there in your corner. Coach Paul Cat that will get on you. Jones, the technician, and can show you any move that you want to learn. And then Coach Brisket. And Coach Brisket taught me so much religiously as well. There's a lot of problems that went on throughout my life and with my family, so he brought me some very, very good closure on a lot of things, and he's also the one that kept me going throughout the whole process of my injury, like saying, you're the guy, like, you're the soldier, like, it's the last ride, man, so give it all. and I appreciate all of them for those words too.
All right, that's all I got, but I got one more thing I want you to do. Can you read this for me out loud?
Dear Robert, from the very first time I saw you wrestling in high school, I knew I wanted you on this team. You were all fire and brimstone, stubborn and tough, and when you came to Olivet, I saw that those things were truly your personality. Your competitive drive, heightened by your grit and determination, made you into a true college wrestler, faster than many. Along with this, you applied self-pressure towards academic excellence that drove your professionalism, to high heights. As great and true as these statements are, they are not what I remember most about your growth in OWC. It was the overcoming of the struggles and the testing of your faith that was the greatest catalyst. Every family struggle you felt at an emotional level and continued forward made you more focused and resilient. Every injury, disappointment, and hardship on the mat confronted your toughness, but the reality of the situation didn't stop your self-belief. Your stubbornness is no longer pride of the ego, it is your true tested character. We will always be grateful for your choice to finish this whole year with OWC, and you will always know the courage it takes to see your highest endeavors through your integrity. Thank you for all you gave us. God, family, OWC, forever, Coach Brissett.
All right. So when you hear OWC family, what comes to your mind?
Oh man, it's as it sounds. God first, family second, and OWC. That became that. Right after family is OWC for life now. It's truly a brotherhood that I couldn't ever ask for, and it's something that just will be in the back of my head and my heart for the rest of my life. Just these experiences and the guys that I went through, all the long practices and all the long seasons with, it just will always be something that will be dear to my heart.
Anything else you want to add?
Nope, kinda it was already said. God, family, OWC.
There you go, buddy. All right, that's all I need.
Sweet, 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 sweet.